So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at where
look.
those common things are. I think I'll summarize first, though, that across the portfolio of what we've built, there's 7 exams. They're localized in the languages here on the slide. They represent 2 different paths. Just like we saw on the previous slide, there's sort of common things, and then there's these 2 audiences. We refer to them as the 2 different paths. With respect to certification relative to 2008, we are going to build upgrade exams so that the certifications from 2008 will have a clear path forward into the new program. And like we've done before with the Windows Azure and Windows Phone certifications, we will be requiring recertification for the SQL Server 2012 certs. It's an every 3 years recertification. Essentially what that means is that during the year you get certified, in the 3rd year following that, you'll need to take some sort of recertification exam to continue to prove that you've got the skills that you had 3 years prior. So it's just an attempt to keep people up to date and make sure that the credential has a lot of value in the industry.
So regardless of what's happening with the product or the version of the product, we're going to say, we want to make sure you're still active and using it, and we're going to recert you, right? So it doesn't matter if there's a SQL 2015, not starting any rumors here, please. But you're going to have that gap. We want to make sure you're still active and on the product, and that goes back to maintain the cert integrity.
Yeah, okay. Currency of use, it's you know, we expected it to be pretty controversial, and the folks who have seen it through the context of the Windows Azure and Windows Phone certifications are pretty solid. They understand exactly why we're doing it. It really has everything to do with keeping the integrity and the value of the certification high.
Great, and I've seen it in other industries, so I could understand that, yes. So it looks like we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, so, okay. I guess I'll maybe walk us through this a little bit, and I can go as far as to say I would guess you start at the lowest number, right?
Yeah, I think we'll start at the bottom here. So this slide represents the path of exams for the data platform. This is the database professional sort of role path through the exams. Starting at the bottom, this is the exam I referenced a bit earlier. It's the first time we've had an exam on Transact SQL. This is essentially, the exam's called Querying Microsoft SQL Server. It's an exam on the T-SQL language. It gets into the nitty-gritty of the syntax and all of the T-SQL statements that you'd use to do the hardcore programming, sort of at a fundamental level. Moving up from there, 462 is the administering exam. This maps very nicely to the sort of DBA 6231, and I don't remember. Do you remember the exam number for 6231? I can never keep that straight.
432 and 433.
432 and 433. Yeah. So both 462 here represents a pretty close match to 432 from the 2008 portfolio. Essentially, it's sort of the classic DBA type information. Moving up from there, 463 is pretty interesting. 463 is an exam about how to build a data warehouse with SQL Server. And this is probably one of the most interesting things across the portfolio, is that this has traditionally been a very BI-centric set of skills. But across the board in all of our research, it's been very clear that building a warehouse and doing the ETL and some of the tasks to get that warehouse in line is something that most all SQL Server professionals are doing.
So it sounds intimidating to me a little bit here. So I want to be just clear. So when you say you're building the data warehouse, are you talking analysis services at this point, or
nope?
Okay.
Nope. This 463 exam covers basically everything from getting data out of disparate sources, making sure that the data of that quality is that the data is super high quality, so using data quality services and master data management and things like that are in SQL Server 2012, and then getting that into a denormalized data warehouse. It's essentially everything in a BI solution up until the point that you'd use analysis services to build data models against it.
Okay, so we're getting into a little bit the extract, transform, load with integration services. So
that's right.
Sounds reasonable. So these are kind of the core skills. Everyone needs to move data around, right?
And you don't have to build a data warehouse to I think the courseware comes at it from the perspective of building a data warehouse, and we set it in the context of building a data warehouse. But the ETL skills could be used to move data from one database to another, and we think that those are really fundamental things that a database professional would need to do.
Yeah, so it's just, it happens to be a data warehouse table type structure.
That's right. That we use as the scenario
whatever
for
that you're putting it into, but it's regardless. It could be going into a standard denormalized database, although integration services could be going to Excel, right, I guess.
That's right, or pulling data out of SQL Azure, or who knows.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so that seems it seems to make sense to me, right?
Yep.
The data professionals on both sides, database professional and the BI professional.
And we'll get there in another slide that you'll see that that's also on the BI side.
Okay.
In the BI path as well.
I thought it was a typo at first, so I had to check.
That's right. That's right. Data warehouse is not just for BI professionals anymore.
Okay.
So the next one on this slide is 464. This is for the corresponding exam in SQL Server 2012 to
432.
432. We'll have to double check that and put it in the notes. But the point is, this one maps to the classic database development. It talks about database programming, stored procedures, functions, all the things that are in sort of historically classic database development from prior versions, refreshed, of course, for some of the new things in SQL Server 2012, but sort of a more classic exam from what we've done. And then the top one here is 465, which is a design exam for building basically big OLTP solutions with SQL Server 2012.
Okay, so sounds really good. It seems to take a step up through the steps of the basics, right?
Yep.
Everybody needs to know how to query your database, do your select statements, maybe build some simple tables, work with the database, understand the security like we did in the 6231, move data around, build database objects using the data definition language, so making your stored procedures and tables and things like that. And then looking at that in the space of a solution and what else might be going on in the system. Or multiple databases are required, and you might have to allow for extract, transfer, load, and you have your write transactions going on and timing things and the whole overall design of the solution. So I like the story. It sounds good. So
let's take a look at the BI side of it. This will be an easier slide to talk to because straight out of the gate, if we start from the bottom, you'll see that the bottom 3 exams here in this path for business intelligence, they're the same. We think that for BI professionals, the 3 bottom exams on this slide are the same 3 exams that we want the database professional to also be competent in. So querying, the T-SQL exam, 462 is the administration exam, 463 is that implementing data warehouses, which is basically the SSIS and data quality type skills. And then from there, there's a divergence. Now on the BI side, this second from the top is 466. This is a new exam called Implementing Data Models and Reports. This is basically everything from a denormalized data warehouse through all of the new intelligent reporting in SQL Server 2012 with Power View and things like that. So it's building the new data models using both kinds of data models that are in SQL Server 2012 and all of the cool new reporting. And then 467 is also a design exam. In this case, it's designed from a BI solution perspective.
Okay, so as you said, we kind of saw the basics there across the bottom. I do see a couple exams, just specific to the BI professionals here, right? And that's a change, isn't it, Pete, from what we did in the BI space before?
It's a distinct change, yeah. For 2008, we had 3 courses and 3 exams, and represented the SSIS, integration services, SSAS, analysis services, and SSRS, reporting services. And here in 2012, it's much more scenario, much more related to the role that we think the people have, split along these 2 lines with 463, the data warehouse, which is sort of data quality and integration services.
Okay.
And then 466, which is the new data models the two kinds of data models and analysis services and all the new reporting stuff together.
So we took those. There's more there because you've mentioned data quality and some other new features. But you've taken your three sort of topic areas that we had on 448 before, and broken out the integration services there in terms of moving the data. Thought everybody should know that. And then that's left us with the reporting services and analysis services in this 7466.
That's right.
Okay, and that'll also allow us to go a little deeper on the exam,
right,
too, to really validate those skills.
And it maps exactly to the audience research that we did, where people in BI solution development type roles almost universally do both the data model development and the reporting. And sometimes it diverges in large organizations where some people just do reporting, but we've got a solution for how to handle that in the courseware later. But in terms of who we're certifying, 466 really represents that core BI developer sort of persona.
Okay. So it looks like we have the courses now.
Right.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of new information on this slide other than the marriage of the mapping that we talked about. So again, going back to the beginning of the design, we built objective domains. We agreed on the objective domains, and then exams went one way, courseware went the other way, and we built content to map to those exams. And here's the course to exam mapping that we're really, really excited about. So partners now can say, we were offering this courseware, and it's designed directly to help you prepare for this particular exam. There's no one course over two exams or two courses over one exam or anything like that. It's a nice one-to-one mapping. And this slide has the numbers there. 10774 is the querying course that maps to 461. 10775 is the administration course that maps to 462. 10776 is the database development course that maps to 464. And then 10777 is the data warehouse course that maps to 463. And 10778 is the data models and reporting course that maps to 464.
So I think I've got a question that probably some of us are wondering here is how many days here?
That's the other thing that's really great about talking about the portfolio is in the past, in 2008, we had this matrix of which ones were how many days. For SQL Server 2012, every course is 5 days. We heard loud and clear that 3-day courses were difficult to schedule. There were idle days for MCTs who couldn't fill the other 2 days in a week. So for SQL Server 2012, all of these courses are 5 days.
So 5-day courses, one course, one exam.
You got it.
Got it.
So we built a lot more than just exams and courseware. This is just a glimpse at those things. All of the content's up on Microsoft.com/learning. If you look for technology under SQL Server, you can find references to all of the stuff that we're building. There's 23 MS Press books coming out. There are 10 that map specifically to the exams across a couple different types of books. We've got an ebook that there are sample chapters up online right now. There's a couple of videos, we call them the snacks, that represent what you'll hear the SQL Server team talking about in all of the launch activities around their 3 core pillars of mission critical confidence, breakthrough insight, and the cloud on your own terms. And I'm really happy to talk about this last part here, that the master's program is also getting revised. The SQL Certified Master Program is being revised for SQL Server 2012. There's going to be a master program that's very similar to the 2008 program, but brand new for SQL Server 2012, there's going to be a BI master certification, which I think is really exciting. Kind of that above and beyond the highest level certifications to really demonstrate serious expertise in the product.
That is exciting. I see a lot of activity in the news, topic areas around business intelligence, everything. So to see us have that extra step there, it really seems to fit into place. So to be clear, we've got 2 basic kind of paths of end states of people, that these personas that we had, and they told us what they did. So that's kind of where we go up the stack to certify to, and both stacks now extend in the master's area.
That's right.
And how does that fit to the Microsoft Partner Program? Is that how the Microsoft Partner Program looks at it as well?
It is, actually. It's one of the reasons that it's built the way it is some combination of us helping them understand all of our audience research, and the program kind of defining the criteria that partners need to have and who's on staff at the partner locations and the